Good, you guys. I miss you guys. Well, as per usual, we were on um, YouTube jail, but we're back. You are now linked into House of Harlem Studio, and I am your host, Kia L. And as usual, you got your host, Shaka L. Bay. And we definitely will have Mr. Wadji on the ones and twos. I hope everyone is staying Rona free, flu free, variant free, and every other free out there. There's definitely something in the air. People are feeling a little bit under the weather, including me. I am tired, guys. I am tired. We're working really, really hard. We have some great news for you guys. And we'll be announcing it a little later as we are always focused on health, and that's how we're going to get our wealth. But anyway, there is a lot of conversation to be had tonight. More mandates, more mandates, more mandates. We are focused here in New York City in regards to the mandates, but they're all over. Each state tends to piggyback from one another. So we'll be talking about that. Obviously, a new variant has come out, and people have decoded in some way, shape, or form what this new variant really means. Kanye West and Drake has they're friends again, which is a great thing, right? And last but not least, we have the metaverse. We have the NFTs that we need to read an article about this and to kind of decide whether or not this is really for us. What is the world going through right now? I mean, we're going through some stuff. And in the state of New York, we have some bills that are trying to be passed. So I want to make mention of it, and you guys let me know your opinion about it. I don't know if my engineer is up for people calling in today, but
Yeah, we'll get into that after
he will post the number. He will post the number. So I'm just gonna wait a little while, let a few people come in the room, see what's going on, and that'll be it. I don't know, I'm just feeling under the weather. I'm just really feeling under the weather since I think yesterday for the most part. But I'm making it through.
we back.
We are back. We were in YouTube jail for sure. Okay? But we're back. We're back. Listen, I'm of the mindset there's nothing that's going to stop us. Nothing at all. In fact, we have to make another page. We need to make another page. I don't know if we can be able to go live on both, at the same time, but we're definitely going to make another page just in case something like this continues to happen, right? The community guidelines are constantly changing, literally. So, 1 minute it wasn't a guideline, and next minute it becomes one. So, constant updates are happening. I want you guys I want your commentary on this metaverse. If anyone has any understanding of what it is, it's something that I cannot imagine myself participating in per se. But I'm hearing, I don't know. I'll have that discussion with you guys. Excuse me. Yawning on live. I'm hearing both sides of the spectrum, and that is you could make money from it, and then I'm hearing, what, if you're not mentally well equipped to go in there, it doesn't make no sense for it to happen. So we're gonna have that open discussion, see what's going on. NFTs, I believe it stems from the metaverse. Shaka, are you aware of that? It kind of like stems from the metaverse? No. So it's something that's out. It seems to have kind of like surfaced around this so-called metaverse conversation, but it's neither here nor there. If you make it a fake world, then why not fake money, right? We already got the bitcoins and so many other things. And just like the fiat, we the people is what gives it its value. All right? For the most part. There's no resources that back these things up, right? So, very interesting. Very interesting. I want Shaka El Bey to read the article. That's what coming from Forbes.
Yes.
Yeah. Read that. Kind of explain exactly what is this NFT all about. For those who don't know, you are about to find out. We were supposed to have a guest on today, but he won't be able to come on. But I definitely will make arrangements for him to come on next Thursday. You want to just...
Yeah, I'm going to read it from here.
Okay. You have to speak a little loud.
It says non-fungible tokens have seemed to exploded out of the ether this year. From art and music
Excuse me.
to tacos and toilet paper, these digital assets are selling like 17th century exotic Dutch tulips. Some for millions of dollars. But are NFTs worth the money or the hype? Some experts say they're a bubble poised to pop. Like the dot-com craze or Beanie Babies, others believe NFTs are here to stay and that they will change investing forever. So we want to know, what is an NFT? An NFT is a digital asset that represents real world objects like art, music, in-game items, and videos. They are bought and sold online, frequently with cryptocurrency, and they are generally encoded with the same underlying software as many cryptos. Although they've been around since 2014, NFTs are gaining notoriety now because they are becoming an increasingly popular way to buy and sell digital artwork. A staggering now, $174 million has been spent on NFTs since November 2017.
What? So it's been around for 2014.
We'll go into it a little bit more, but that is just a little bit of the
general information.
And kind of like giving you an understanding of how long they've been around. They just kind of like been dormant, waiting to make happen.
I see they were dormant, but the thing is, it's just kind of interesting to me how it really has gained its popularity during the time that the metaverse has come out.
That is interesting.
If you notice,
because people, I think, are making NFTs and selling them in
the metaverse.
It's crazy.
So I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. Now, the metaverse is, the metaverse is what it is, and I want to be able to read an article. Peace to everyone in the chat. I want to read an article that pretty much sums up what the metaverse is all about. And I want you guys, I really want your opinion on this metaverse. Like, it's a virtual world, pretty much so. And you remember, for example, when we were able to just, let's say you wanted to buy a house, and you would have to physically go to meet up with the realtor to look at the house, to view the house, to get a feel of the house and see it, close up. Now you can use the metaverse to be able to see that. Now, I don't know how comfortable people feel using the metaverse. I don't know if viewing a house in the metaverse is remotely close to actually physically being in there, but people are making money from this. People are. Excuse me, y'all. This gonna be a yawning night for me. Honestly, I am a little bit. I'm not. I'm under the weather, so I'm just not really, feeling myself right now. I'm a little tired, but I'll make it through. So, with that being said, let me read this article that I had about the metaverse. And I want to bring to light before read this article, and that is that remember Facebook had a whistleblower, right? And they went to some sort of hearing to kind of expose Facebook for prying into people's personal business and kind of luring people into with the algorithm into buying things, just the whole analysis and the whole data on how Facebook worked and how they just breached privacy and every other thing. And most importantly, how people, because of Facebook, people are supposedly dying on Facebook, or ending their lives because of it. Now, to my understanding, it was mentioned to me that the government, whether it's the CIA, FBI, or any other government entity similar to the two I just mentioned, wanted to have more control of Facebook. Now, Mark Zuckerberg looked very cheerful and very happy to announce the new name of Facebook, which would be Metaverse. And I want you guys' honest opinion. Do you feel like this was all like pre-planned? It was kind of like a setup to kind of introduce the metaverse and try to pretend that Facebook, was not really what we need because of all the crime rates that are pulled from out of there and so much other things. Now, this metaverse world, it's pretty eccentric to me. And I don't know if I would necessarily get used to it, but it's something I definitely know I do not want my children to be even remotely close to even looking at it, or if I could prevent them from even knowing it exists, which I know is not possible, I would do so. It really brings you back to, which I'm so happy I finally watched, is The Matrix. And this virtual world is in my opinion leading us down the road of destruction when it comes to just the human race, when it comes to mankind. And the reason why I say that is, if we don't physically get up to look at a house, if we don't physically get up to do certain things, then we're stagnant. We're just going to stay still, not be mobile, not be healthy. And where is the world going to, what is the world going to become if these essential elements are not practiced on our day-to-day lives? So I have no idea, but it's just very interesting to me. Now, once again, millions are being made. Millions. How? I don't know. Because is it any different from millions being made the traditional way of buying a house, the traditional way and doing commerce, the traditional way and buying coats and all kind of stuff? I think that it's a setup. I mean, why would someone want to buy a Louis bag in the metaverse for 1 million and they can buy it out of the metaverse for 500,000? So, and you're saying you can make money with that. I'm just not understanding that. Once again, we have to really be able to identify the psyop, to identify when we are mentally being lured into doing something or being participants in something, and obviously this metaverse is no different. We're not going to stay too long on here, but I must say, Shaka, you don't have to really, let me excuse me, you guys. It be feeling so unprofessional when I'm just up here yawning and yawning. And believe me, I was not yawning earlier until I got up here. That's very interesting. Shaka, let's read this article about the metaverse. Now, I want to remind you guys as well that the metaverse, there are many different ones from different companies. Someone about a week ago, I believe, was trying to break it down to me because you could buy shares to certain metaverses, right, with certain companies. So that's very interesting. I am going to be looking a little bit further more, and someone sent me some videos in regards to the NFTs and how I could potentially make some money off of it. But like it's neither here or there. Do what you can. Do what you can to get to where you need to get to. Let's get into this metaverse. And oh yeah, that beat that was playing in the beginning of the show, you guys can always contact Shaka at Diggy Dime Music. So we'll be playing some beats at every beginning of the show to kind of let y'all know about our skills and what we have. I'm saying our like I actually make the beats, but I feel like sometimes I do because I'm right there. Waiting. But anyway, that's very interesting. You can't make this up. Um, let's read. Let's read
This is the metaverse website.
from Facebook.
Yep.
Okay, because there's more than there are many companies now that have their own metaverse, and that's the thing. I want to know how we. Yeah, I think so. I don't think from what I was told, it's not just Facebook that has metaverse. There are other companies that have their own metaverse.
Okay, well, let me make sure this is the right one.
Yeah, uh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah.
Right, isn't it? Very interesting. I was shocked, but it makes sense, right? And that goes to show, like, okay, well, listen, if there's more than one metaverse, then can you make your own? So let's kind of like hear a little bit about what's going on. And you guys have to give me an honest opinion about if you really agree with this. Some people say I'm already in the fourth and fifth dimension, so it's nothing for me. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I want. I've already been traveling and X, Y, and Z. Some people are really for it. I'm not so for it. I'm just not. Right now, I just feel like people have an underlying agenda. What do you think, God?
I think that things are crazy. Oh, I think that things are crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, where J Bourne's jacket?
In the living room, I believe. I mean, in the room.
Okay, good. I need. Oh well, uh you got Rose math, right? What we saw that video.
I'm sorry.
You got
Mhm.
send me his math so I could.
Who? Well, I don't have him not on this phone, and it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna close out pretty soon, so it's okay.
All right. So this here says, okay, you okay? So,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I didn't want to do that. I want to bring this over here and bring this over here.
Can they see it? Will they be able to read it with you? Or no?
No, I can make it available to
Screen
you.
share. Share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this yawning is getting on my nerves. Peace, everyone. How are you guys doing? Metaverse. Let me see about this assembly stuff. Bull crap.
Okay. Okay. So what we have here is Facebook wants to lean into the metaverse. Here's what it is and how it will work.
How it will work.
This is going back to October 28th,
Go Facebook.
a few months ago.
Go Facebook.
So
Go Facebook. With the bull crap.
it says the term metaverse is the latest buzzword to capture the tech industry's imagination. So much so that one of the best known internet platforms is rebranding to signal its embrace on the futuristic idea. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg Thursday announcement that he's changing his company's name to Meta Platforms Incorporated, or Meta for short, might be the biggest thing to happen to the metaverse since science fiction writer Neil Stephenson coined the term for his 1992 novel Snow Crash.
That don't sound right.
We don't know. I don't know how Snow Crash is. Uh, but Zuckerberg and his team are hardly the only tech visionaries with ideas on how the metaverse, which will employ a mix of virtual reality and other technologies, should take shape. As some who've been thinking about it for a while have concerns about a new world tied to a social media giant that could get access to even more personal data and is accused of failing to stop proliferation of dangerous misinformation and other online harms that exacerbate real world problems.
Mm.
So now we ask, what is the metaverse? Think of it as the online brought to life, or at least rendered in 3D. Zuckerberg has described it as a virtual environment you can go inside of instead of just looking at on the screen. Essentially, it's a world of endless, interconnected virtual communities where people can meet, work, play using virtual headsets, augmented reality glasses, smartphone apps, or other devices. It will incorporate other aspects of online life such as shopping and social media, according to Victoria Petrock, an analyst who follows emerging technologies. Quote, it is the next evolution of connectivity where all of those things start to come together in a seamless doppelganger universe.
Mm-hmm.
So you're living your virtual life the same way you're living your physical life, she added. Alright, and my thing is how? How the hell is that gonna be the case? You know, how you gonna be living your virtual life the same way? I've seen the metaverse, I've seen how it's gonna look and the mobility within it and everything. And it is interesting to say the least. I'll say that.
For the
It's
game, the
something,
gamers, the ones who play the
but
games.
it's not even a game. it's basically like they said, bringing the internet to life. So you are posting in metaverse, like you're sitting there in the digital form, putting a post up or reading stuff online, and it's just mind-boggling how this is going to take shape, and people are going to ultimately be drawn to it. I don't know what happens after that. You know, we can. That's a wait and see process.
Right. So, in detail, there are some glasses that you're gonna have to put on, right? And those glasses will lead you into the metaverse. And I have once again seen images of how it, how it operates on just through video, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'm pretty sure that some of you may have played a game where you are, you have to be in a you yourself have to be in a virtual world. But once again, and we have to be very coding when I say this, right? We have to speak in codes. Uh, some people may have a chip in them. Some people may have certain things in their bodies to where they could be controlled by a certain vibration, or someone can make a command and make them do something. There was a document that we read a few weeks ago in regards to the resources and the bitcoins, and how they were going to get the human resource to be able to do whatever they want at their command. These people are very blatant about what it is that they are planning to do, or that has already done. And I mean, that's the bottom line of it all. So I wanted to know from you guys, do you plan on using the metaverse? If you do, tell me why, and if you don't, tell me why. How important is it for you to be able to go through this metaverse and to be able to live? I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be, because at the end of the day, we still have to get out of that and pretty much live our day-to-day lives. But it's pretty much possible for the metaverse to be someone's whole life. That's what they're going to do. They're going to wake up, they're going to put their glasses on, and if you are doing your day-to-day activity using this metaverse, what is the point? You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be doing anything. You're going to be just pretty much stationed where you're at. I don't know if that would even be healthy. What do you guys think? It's not going to be healthy at all if you're just stationed for hours because you have to sell products. You got, whatever the case may be. Now, let me speak about the possible benefits. Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, y'all.
You can zoom me out for a minute. I'll use the bathroom. I was going to tell them about the benefits of possibly being in the metaverse. I mean, the benefits for the NFT and the metaverse are pretty much the same, and that is you can make money from it. But once again, I consider that a psyop. They're telling us that there was an article about a young lady who was able to make what 6 figures. Excuse me, you guys, excuse me. Was able to make 6 figures selling her artwork with the NFT. And so I think that these type of articles are just Marketing. It's marketing to get you to participate in the NFT because it will not go anywhere unless we all participate. And the more to participate, the more value we would give it, right? That is the same thing for the metaverse. So you'll see these little clips, these pictures. Oh, this person made 100,000, and they look just like you, or this person made this, and they look just like you. It's relatable. You're more than likely willing to participate in it. So, what do you guys think about it? Do you think this is a psyop in regards to this metaverse and NFT, or do you think that no, this is just it is what it is, and it's really gonna happen? Can you zoom me out, Mr. Cole?
Alright, and I'll talk to the people for a minute and we'll go into some stuff here.
Yes, please.
We go into some stuff here, very likely, yes. No?
Yes.
Let me do
Let me
this.
sure I gotta take
Hold
my.
on, hold on.
All right, take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Oh, not that. Oh, wow. What am I doing? Okay.
I need to take it. Can I get the pill that I gave you? How much? The pill that I.
Oh. Oh. Alright, y'all.
Let's get to it.
It's you and me for a minute.
Guillotine. Look, you hear us? It's just like, oh.
No, we messed up in the game.
But you know what? We got the right shots. You know what I'm saying? The tonic shots, and we just keep working, man. And no matter what, just keep working. Okay. Yeah, you just
Alright. So now, with the metaverse, with this whole metaverse thing, let's delve into some stuff here. Alright, let me make sure the mic is where it need to be at. You guys should be able to hear me a lot better now. You guys, So, okay, let me make sure I peek it. Okay, so the metaverse and NFTs are working hand in hand, right? This is something that's going on. I'm trying to see if I can find out when the metaverse is going to actually start up. Give me 1 second. When is metaverse? Okay. Okay. Let me try to pull this info up and find out when is metaverse coming out. Okay. It says it'll be years before. Everybody has different dates, it seems like. No, actually, November 3rd, it actually started. November 3rd is when the metaverse is coming online. So that is what that is all about. Now, what do y'all think about metaverse. Let me read some of the chat and see what's happening. You guys are saying, yeah, my bad. I mean, because I don't have the wire for my mic, so I gotta just make do and talk a little loud. Yeah, 6B said it's interesting as the Matrix resurrection and the metaverse being discussed at the same time. Yeah, that's a fact because uh Pete, he like tried to like slide this in real easy, but with the way that bloggers and the computer savvy people, they they got their ear to the digital concrete and they know what's going on because these companies are doing things strategically as if, oh, let me just try to put this out there. I don't want to bring a lot of hoopla. Well, how could it not bring a lot of hoopla when you're mentioning it? You're mentioning it. So it's kind of like, you know, oxymoronic for them to say or to act like it's no big deal when they know it's a really big deal. And I think that they try to come off that way to kind of soften the blow to any critics, people who are critical of this platform. I'm just kind of blown away. Oh, and they are coming out with a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas virtual reality video game. So you're gonna be walking around and all of that in the game. Not like moving your avatar around. You will be the avatar with the virtual reality glasses on and all of that stuff. So keep in mind that children are going to be in here playing these games, looking at things from a first person perspective. We all know what Grand Theft Auto is about. You dig what I'm saying? So now think about the psychological programming, the desensitization of a young person's mind who is playing this game for hours on end, a very graphic game, a very adult kind of game, and they're trying to make it seem like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that is very, very. I'm concerned. I don't know about you guys. If you are concerned, let me know because I'm concerned. I don't know what to think about that. That's crazy. So I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. You know, this is something different. Okay, there we go. So I just wanted to kind of get, put an image up there, something, you know, so that we could talk about it. Uh, I want to also one of the other topics. One of the things. Let's get into some coonery and buffoonery real quick because there are things that happen around we didn't get a chance to really talk about yet. You know, like the brother Jesse, he wind up being found guilty of, I think, 4 out of 5 counts or 5 out of 6 counts. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen to him as he starts to, you know, as he starts to put in, claims for some type of leniency, because he's going to be asking, he's going to be asking for leniency. So this is going to be, wow. Now, some of the things that's being talked about on the internet. 5 children died after falling from a bouncy castle that was blown into the air. So it wasn't tied down, or uh, it wasn't anchored into the ground. 5 children died and 5 others were injured after they fell to the ground from a bouncy castle that was blown into the air by a strong gust of wind outside an Australian school earlier today. The tragedy took place at Hillcrest Primary School in North Tasmania as children were celebrating the upcoming Christmas break. The sixth graders were playing in the bouncy castle when winds blew the inflatable house off the ground, tossing them from a height of about 33 feet. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison says the tragedy shattering and unthinkably heartbreaking. It is crazy. Kids trying to have a good time and something as freakish as a gust of wind blowing a bouncy castle into the air. That shit is crazy. It said young children on a fun day out together with their families, and it turns to such a horrific tragedy. And this time of year, it just breaks our heart, he said. And that's sad. You know what I'm saying? So that's an unfortunate incident that has happened. For anybody that cares, I mean, this is news that you may or may not care about. So, Sex and the City star Chris North, and he's the guy from Law and Order, accused of sexual assault by 2 women. Days after Sex and the City launched this reboot, news broke about the show's actor Chris North being accused of sexual assault by 2 women. One of the alleged female victims, identified as Zoe, told the Hollywood Reporter that North assaulted her in Los Angeles in 2004. See what I'm saying, man? If he did it, he's a dirtbag. But golly, you wait almost 20 years to make a claim. What the hell is going on? Another tragic story is a Georgia father shot dead by toddler son. I'm not making this shit up, y'all. A father in Georgia was shot dead by his toddler son after the child found a loaded gun inside the family home. Police say they found 25-year-old Dustin Walters critically wounded after responding to reports of a shooting at his home in Savannah on December 5th. The man was rushed to the hospital suffering from a gunshot wound but later died from his injuries. Investigators determined that Walter's son, who was excuse me, who was under the age of 2, fired the fatal gunshot, police revealed this week. That is crazy. That's crazy. That's you can't make this up. You can't make this up. So, those are some of the things that are happening. You may care, you may not care. A Florida man kicked off United flight for wearing red thong as a face mask. Didn't he cover his face? I don't see what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? He covered his face up. I get it. I get it. Um, yeah, so it's really not much on that front. All of this other stuff that's being reported is like, who gives a shit? Nobody really cares. You know, it ain't making news on social media, so nobody cares. Oh, Nicole Brown Simpson's sister says OJ doesn't deserve a second chance in Hollywood following parole release. It says OJ Simpson is officially off parole, and his ex-wife's sister Tanya Brown is not too happy about it. Brown told TMZ that Simpson does not deserve a second chance where he could possibly make a comeback in Hollywood. Brown claims that Simpson doesn't deserve any redemption due to his lack of remorse. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, there is. No, I don't want to go into that. So that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, something else I wanted to talk about is if um if the Bible is the Bible a relevant reference or a relevant teaching tool for people of color, because although the the Bible has origins in manuscripts coming, you know, coming out of uh Kemet, from what I understand, or out of they say Africa, but that's another story for another day. But is the Bible, because this is a book that the colonizers really, 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 really hammered in to some of our ancestors' minds. They really was selling this like this is the new wave right here. Y'all need to get with this Jesus stuff and stop with that spiritual stuff, you know. Now, there is a book that is supposedly a part of the Bible, and it was reported that they tried to burn it out of existence because uh, the Greeks, the Roman, these other these other folks were very nervous of what the book talked about, you know. So we have to start really combing through some of what's being uncovered or being revealed, because you never know. I mean, even if it turns out to be trash information, so be it. However, you can't, for lack of uh, 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 knowing, just ignore it. You can't just displace information. Sometimes you gotta go dumpster diving to find a gem. So, um, what do y'all think about that? Is the Bible a really relevant teaching tool or relevant reference to teach from to people of color? What's what's your verdict, y'all? Let's talk about it. You know, there is good information in the Bible. I will agree to that. There's good principles in the Bible if you can really understand what's being said, because some people take the Bible literally. Some people take the Bible figuratively. Now, I'm of the mind that it's a little bit of both. But you got to know how to discern one from the other. It's not easy because the English language kind of doesn't speak to a lot of the points that the Hebrew scriptures were describing from these manuscripts. So even when it was transliterated into Greek or Latin or what have you, and then, it found its way into the English paradigm from a language standpoint, there's a lot of information that isn't really speaking clearly. Like the snake in the Garden of Eden, when the Hebrew word is not snake, but they had you think that a snake was crawling around on his belly, hissing up in Eve's ear, telling her, "Hey, hey, Eve, why don't you bite that apple? That should look real good, right? That shit glistening. You can see sweat coming off that bad boy. I mean, it's looking like it is ready to be eaten. Come on, girl, why don't you go take a bite of that? Come on." That's what they trying to say. Okay, so we got a caller. Peace, peace. Okay, I think we don't have a caller. I think we do have a caller. Peace.
Peace, Shock. It wasn't. It wasn't a snake. It's a serpent.
A
And
serpent.
The serpent didn't crawl. It had legs.
Okay.
Because one of the curses that God, Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. And one of the curses to the serpent, God said, "You're going to now crawl on your belly." So it wasn't that it slithered up Eve. It walked to Eve, and it was cunning, and she was beguiled. She was deceived.
Okay.
So there's more to that story. There's a lot more to that story.
Right. Now, I want to ask you a question. Are you familiar with the apocalypse of Adam?
It all depends which one you're talking about. If you're talking about Lilith, I don't know which level you're talking about, Adam, because a lot of degrees to Adam. So when you say apocalypse, or
this is supposed to be a transcript that was found 1,500 years after uh, the Romans or the Greeks tried to burn it out of existence. This is a book. This is a book that was believed to you know to maybe it could have been part of the Bible, but they tried to get rid of it. And this is something that I'm looking into.
Well, there were hundreds of books that they excluded from the Bible, because the Bible's only made up 66 books. And a majority of them are not even books. They're letters.
Right.
Okay, so the first 5 books were considered the law. Genesis itself is something, um, especially the first part of Genesis. That was dictated. It was inspired by God. Like no one was there to record, and God said, and the serpent said to Eve, the whole conversations. So it what it, how it is that Moses, God spoke to Moses and gave him history of what happened. Because it's supposed that Moses wrote the first 6 books of the Bible, or he definitely wrote Genesis. So it's a situation. One was history, and one is what conversations that took place. You know, because Moses was there, and God said, "Let there be light." No, God inspired that to him. Spoke like it's like a secretary taking dictation. I want you to say this. I want you to say that.
Right. He was a scribe. He was a scribe.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting to know. That's
Now
interesting.
there's something called the gap theory in Genesis. Genesis is a heavy book because just in the first 2 verses, and the earth was without form and void. So what happened? So what happened before then? So it it could have been a pre-existing civilization before Adam and Eve. It's just that Adam and Eve is a chosen lineage of that led to God's chosen people and to the Christ child, and until Christ.
Okay.
All right, and when they say about Christ, well, Yeshua, there's over 500 verses in the Old Testament speaking of the coming of the Christ, the chosen one. And the first book of the New Testament says, "And the Word, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." In the Old Testament, there's many scriptures that says that God Himself, the Creator, me personally, I believe that there was a divine intelligence that made this universe. Okay,
Right. Right.
because there's divine order to it. Like some people, it just came together. No, it's too perfect to come together. But that's my belief. So I believe there's an intelligent design to it, and there was a designer. And so one of the things some people, because you asked in the beginning, some people see this book as a law. Some people see it as an accounting, as a book of accounting. Some people see it as a love letter. I personally see it as many things, all the above that I just mentioned and more.
Right.
So when it talks about in the New Testament, it says that the Creator Himself wanted to come down as a man. He reduced Himself to a man to walk upon the earth. That's what the New Testament's about.
Right.
God Himself became a man to walk upon the earth to free man to give him back his heritage and authority, his dominion.
Okay. Okay. Because my question to you was about to be, uh, if there was so much information, law, and instruction in the Old Testament, why was the New Testament even created?
Because the Old Testament was based on law. When the children of Israel went when they were free from, according to the Bible now, when they were free from Egypt, God didn't give them the 610 commandments. He only gave them 10.
Right.
It was the hardness of their heart that He gave them multitudes of commandments, because He knew they couldn't keep the law. Because you can't keep the law. Like everybody has an iniquity.
And
Like
they're prone for error. Like
yes.
we're just that way. Yeah.
Yes.
All
So
right.
He was like, okay, so we can't stand up to the law, because all have sinned and come short. If you break one part of the law, you break all of it. That's why I'm against these religious fanatics who are against gay people. They're against homosexuality. Okay, because oh, you get homosexual. Do you eat pork? Do you eat pork? That's abomination. So how can you be against gay and you eat pork or you eat shrimp? You know what I mean? Or you eat eat some type of stuff. So people mix that up, but I believe you can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Um, there are a lot of things that's confusing in the Bible, and I have a lot of questions. Being 40 years in it, I ask questions because, and I'm just going to throw one out there. When Cain slew Abel, God put a mark on his forehead, and then he went to another city of Nod, and he met. Hey, like, where the hell is this other city? Where did this other city come from? Who are these people? You know what I mean? Because we only let believe it was Adam and his family. So where did all these people come from? So a lot of those questions are not fully answered in that text. That's where there's other books like the book of that's where there's other books, and they didn't include them in the what was it, the 1100 or the 4th century when they put together the Bible. It was called I forgot what they called it. They called it something else. So but I think everyone can glean something from the book. And by the way, mankind himself did not create war, slavery, and everything else. That was not in man's heart. It was the Anunnaki who taught men how to make swords, who taught women how to adorn themselves, who taught men astronomy and astrology and all types of mystic language and numerology and stuff like that. Was man intelligent? Yes. Adam was extremely intelligent. Let me just give
hold.
Okay.
Now, because I'm looking at some of this information, trying to get a hold on things, and you just made a statement that was interesting. You know, you said the earth, the earth was void or whatever, so you felt like it was pre-existing. So now I am looking at a site called contradictionsinthebible.com.
Okay.
Number one, was the earth created from pre-existent matter or nothing? And it gives you one Genesis 1:1 through 10. I don't know what this other verse, IS 45:18, and Hebrews 11:3. So,
Okay.
so it says
That's Isaiah. IS.
Isaiah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Go ahead.
Hebrews 11:3 is often invoked as a proof text for the doctrine of creatio ex nihilo. While some may wish to debate this reading, since the verse can be read as an abstract statement about faith literally. So then it goes to say, quote, not from that which is visible did the things that are seen come into being, end quote. Then it goes to say, I shall nevertheless treat it as if it proclaimed this doctrine, for this allows us to, and this allows us the occasion to examine in detail the contradictory beliefs about the creation of the world as presented by the author of Genesis, and to learn something about this ancient text, its author, and the historical and literary context in which it was written. This first entry will also double as a general background to the two contradictory creation accounts in the opening chapter of Genesis. So
Absolutely.
they got
Absolutely.
they have, I think, about five contradictions.
Yes. And I'm familiar with most of them.
Okay.
And I question it. A lot of pastors and teachers don't teach it, but you have throughout the centuries people who studied it. Now, let me use something that a lot of people want to go familiar with. The Matrix. In the last Matrix, Neo he met the architect, and the architect told him there were 5 other number ones before you. This is not the first time Zion was destroyed. This, that, and the other.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember that scene. Because
yeah.
He learned in reality that he wasn't the first one.
Right.
There were others before him.
There were others before him.
And there were other realities or matrices before him. It just didn't start with that one. So, I'm just using that as a parallel. In the Bible, there could have been a prehistoric age. Like something happened that destroyed the earth. And we got history of it. We got pictures of a race of beings, ancient pictures of a race of beings flying in craft using atomic weapons. And the earth could have been destroyed. But the Bible picks up when there was darkness on the earth, this, that, and the other. He separated the waters, and he did this, and he did that. So there is a lot of seemingly contradictions and or not completed thoughts of what happened. It's just a statement, and then it moves on to the next thing. And so you got to take it by faith, that one, then you got to move to the next one by faith. You know, there's several things, but there's certain clues you can take from it that there's more to the story, and there is more to the story.
Yeah, there's absolutely more to it. And I thought it was very interesting.
Can I just share this thing about Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam was so intelligent because Adam was a god. God gave him dominion of the earth. He was a god on this earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was so intelligent that God brought all the creatures to him, says, I want you to name each one. And I know I may have said this before on a previous show. He named like a spider. We say spider but the scientific name of it is an arachnid. And arachnid breaks down to the true essence of what that creature is. And you got different types of arachnids. And that's how Adam named the species. And God said, that's brilliant, and that's going to be the name of it thereof. You know, like we today don't know what that name is. And Eve, she didn't eat an apple. It was just a fruit. We don't know what type of fruit, but we know it had genetic and spiritual characteristics. Because there was 2 trees in the garden. Well, there was multiple trees, but they had the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
So she was deceived and ate of the tree of good and evil. Adam knew exactly what he was doing, and he ate because of Eve, because he didn't want to be alone.
Right. Well, he definitely wasn't alone, but it wasn't good after that situation happened.
Well,
I mean, not that it wasn't good, but they had to deal with some real adversity that they probably would have not had to deal with if they had not made that move.
Well, here's what we can take from what God cursed him with. He said, previously, Adam had the ability of what is called telekinesis. He could tell a boulder, move over here, just by speaking it and commanding it. Then when God cursed him, he says, now you got to do things with the sweat of your brow. You physically got to pick it up and struggle, use your own physical body to do it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Adam and Eve had the ability so that they were able to read each other's thoughts. Their communication was much higher than ours. You know, he knew exactly how his wife felt and thought and this, that, and the other. Because he read into her mind. He was part of her. They were part of each other. And they shared that. They lost that. Because one of the now this woman is going to try to rule over you. That was one of the curses of Eve. Now now you're gonna try to rule over your husband. So it's interesting when you start reading and studying, particularly when you start getting the original writings of that whole story.
See, that's the thing. I'm interested in trying to get the original writings.
Right, because you're right that they translated it to Latin, and then they did it into German through what's his name? I forgot his name. Jeez. I forgot his name. I forgot the man's name who did it to German, so the common people could understand it, and that's how the Bible got really big, because it made it for the common man, and then English this and the other.
You know what? I'm going to. Okay. Now I want to bring up this page here for us to see. I think this is a very interesting document. Now, this document is called 101 Contradictions in the Bible. So, it says, who incited David to count the fighting men of Israel? 2 Samuel says God did. The First Chronicles says Satan did. 2. In that count, how many fighting men were found in Israel? 2 Samuel says 800,000. First Chronicles says 1,100,000. Number 3. How many fighting men were found in Judah? 2 Samuel says 500,000. First Chronicles says 470,000.
Okay. Then you got to answer the question: does that include the tribe of Levi? Did that include the tribe of Levi? You gotta decipher in that which particular war or Hittites or whoever they were fighting, or Canaanites, whatever. So, because there were distinctions in those wars and whatnot. There was a time when David went to fight on his own, and he wasn't even dealing with Saul, because Saul was the first king of Israel. That's who man chose. God chose David. So, it all depends which army are you talking about.
Okay, that's a good retort right there. That was a good retort. So let's just browse through some of this. It says, how old was Jehoiachin? I know I'm butchering that. When he became king of Jerusalem. 2 Kings says 18. 2 Chronicles says 8. I don't know. I'm
not familiar.
How long?
Talking about Jehoshaphat, or I'm not familiar. I did very little study on the kings of Israel, but I don't remember that particular name spelled that particular way.
Right. But all of this is just interesting, because if something is divine, we shouldn't have this many questions.
No, that's not true. Because what it is, it's in part. It's in part. The Bible doesn't lay out the whole picture. It does it in part, because we see in part.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't give the whole answer. Let me use this example. In Psalms it says, "Thy way is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." And what that symbolizes, if you put a lamp on your feet, it's only going to show you 3 or 4 feet ahead of you. It's not going to show you the whole miles and mile road ahead of you, because you're taking a step by faith each way, and you're creating your own destiny and stuff like that. So the Bible's going to tell you things in part. It's not going to tell you the whole thing. You know, like Moses. Let's use Moses for instance. When he went to Pharaoh and said such a thing, he thought he was going to have the people done in the first day. He didn't know there's going to be 10 plagues. You know, and believe it or not, there was a time when God actually sought to kill Moses. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Because he didn't circumcise his children.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the question is, how did God sought to kill somebody? God could just kill him. How can he sought to kill someone? There is a lot of questions that can be answered. There's a lot of unanswered questions in the Bible. So some of the thought is concentrate on those that can be answered and those that state fact. You know, so because a lot of I got many myself. I try to talk to people about it. They don't want to talk about it. Why? Why you don't want to talk about it? What about the book of Enoch? Why did they leave the book of Enoch? I think that's an important book.
It is a very, very important book.
Yeah, it's almost what you was telling me today. How they have all the, it was either you or Noble, about the L's in people's names, because that relates to angels. Was that you telling me that today?
No, that had to be him.
Well, it must have been Noble. Okay, so and that whole thing is left out. That whole situation is left out about the Anunnaki, the fallen ones, the Watchers, and Yeshua, what some people call Jesus, he even talked about that book, but they left it out because it was too enlightened that they didn't want the people to know about it. So there's hidden knowledge. Women are so powerful in the Bible. The book that we have now is so biased towards men, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. You could tell what kind of thought process was going into some of what was put in it. You know, the way that they transcribed it, it was different.
Now, is it in my opinion? Are there some excellent principles and stuff in it? Absolutely. Does it talk about the true character of a man who wants to slave other men and do this all kind of horrible stuff? I could share some scenes in the Bible with you. You would say, Brian, that was really in the Bible? Are you kidding me? There's one scene in the Bible where this guy and this woman start having sex on the altar, and this other guy took a spear and stabbed them both at the same time, held them up in the air and threw them. And God honored that. It's like, what? That's in the Bible? Incest, rape, whole bunch of things. Because it's about man and man's frailty. So when you say, is Bible for what? You asking your original question, is the Bible for melanated people? Was that your question?
Is it relevant to teaching tool for people of color?
I would say it is. One thing, it saved my life, but I only can speak for me.
Right. Because we all, we all have our individual journeys and stuff like that. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, I would have been a straight up killer in thieves. The brothers that I was hanging out with, they were, I'm talking about the 70s and 80s, they were straight stick up kids. And this is before you shot back then. So I'm going back to that era. Okay, I'm an OG. So it was a different school of thought back then. You know?
Okay.
Like Uzis and all that kind of stuff didn't come out yet. Or at least the street didn't have them. They had 38s, 45s, stuff like that. Revolvers, steel revolvers where you have to pull the bullets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So it's interesting. I mean, so everybody, what do y'all think? I mean, I want to hear some. I want to see some answers. Do y'all agree, or is your are you subscribing to the same concept that Byron here is subscribing to in regards to the Bible being relevant to people of color? What y'all got to say about it? You know what I'm saying? I want to really see what is on the minds of people, because a lot of us have grown up. Everybody knows that book. It is the most famous book on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Hands down. So we all are familiar with that book. I don't know anybody that's not familiar with the Bible.
just point of reference, I do not believe in Catholicism. So what the Roman Catholic Church did and all those crusades and all that bullshit, no, I'm not for that. But there are some good things that's stated in a good way of living in the Bible, like honor your mother and your father. Absolutely, principles and stuff like that. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's a good look. I appreciate your thought, your wisdom, and your input, Byron, because you definitely gave me a different perspective. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted to hear people's perspective because we all, like we mentioned a minute ago, we all on our own personal journeys. So this book may have impacted everyone on the call differently. I just want to know how it impacts you, positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? So in Byron's case, it saved his life. It brought him to a certain level of maturity and accountability with himself. And from what I know of Byron, it seems to have made him a better man for it. So, you know, that's his story. But what's your story, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Um, we're gonna get ready to we're gonna get ready to shut it down actually in a few minutes. In a few.
I would say put up the number so people can call in and answer that question.
You know what? That's a good idea because I want to give people an opportunity to speak on it, and yeah, let's do that. Okay. So the call-in number is up on the screen. The call-in number is up on the screen. So, let's get this let's get this party started the right way, and let's see what it does. Now, I want to try to bring up this other book while we're sitting here chatting. Let me look up this booklet here. Damn, they got the apocalypse of Adam, Peter, Paul, Baruch, Moses, Elijah, John, and Apocalypse of the Damned, and of Abraham. Huh. So let's look this up real quick. Let's look at this for a minute. This is interesting. Okay, the Apocalypse of Adam. Okay, let's look at. Oh, we ain't doing that. So it says the Apocalypse of Adam, discovered at Nag Hammadi in Upper Egypt in 1945, is a Sethian work of apocalyptic literature dating to the first to second centuries A.D. This tractate is one of five contained with Codex 5 of the Nag Hammadi Library. Now, content. It says, Adam in his 700th year tells his son Seth when he and Eve had first been created. They used to walk in the glory of the eternal God, and they were in fact more powerful than their creator. Yodabor, the ruler of the Aeons. However, that glory and knowledge was lost to them when Yodabo became angry with them and divided them into two aeons, male and female. They became slaves to the Creator and also to death. Adam then relates to Seth the hidden knowledge he received in a revelation from three mysterious men. Adam then prophesies about attempts of the sub-creator God to destroy mankind, including the prophecy of the great global flood and attempted destruction by fire. Adam further prophesies that after the flood waters had receded, God will give the earth to Noah, who will be known to posterity as Deucalion, the hero of the flood called by Zeus in Greek mythology. Noah would then divide the earth among his sons Ham, Japheth, and Shem, with the caveat that they must always serve God in fear and slavery. Then the descendants of Ham and Japheth, no mention is made of Shem, will form 12 kingdoms and also be part of a 13th kingdom. The illuminator of knowledge will then come to redeem the souls of Noah's descendants. Adam then foretells the coming of the illuminator, who will perform miracles and pass knowledge on to Noah's descendants. The powers of God are jealous, and the illuminator, since he appears to be more powerful than they are, and they inquire about his origin. The 13 different kingdoms each describe a different origin story for the illuminator, each ending with the phrase, and thus he came to the water. Of these stories, only the generation without a king proclaims the truth.
Who's the illuminator? Do you know who that is?
They don't speak on who the illuminator is.
You know who I believe the illuminator is?
Satan?
No. It was Lucifer. Because Lucifer was the bright and morning star. He was brilliant. When you study Lucifer before he became Satan, he was phenomenal. I mean phenomenal. And he was full of illumination, instruments were built in him. All types of pipes, all like a whole orchestra was built in him. That was part of his body, and he was covered in all types of precious stones. He was magnificently beautiful. So when you see pictures of Satan with the horns and the ugly, that's such bull crap. I mean, if Satan was to appear to someone, he'd be absolutely gorgeous. Not that hideous stuff that came out of what, the 12th century, the 11th century, whatever. They started doing that.
Yeah.
With gargoyles and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they hideous creatures in the spirit realm? Yes. That's who, when they say illuminator, that's who I believe that was Stephen.
Okay, you know what?
I mean, Lucifer, rather.
Who was the illuminator?
Nobody else on this call has an opinion on your question? I find that very surprising. Tell somebody to speak up.
What does Adam foretell the coming of the Illuminator? Illuminator who will perform miracle. Yeah. Nobody would say secret entity. Illuminator, original Illuminator. It doesn't really say who. Okay, no. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Origins of the Illuminator, Chief Archon, and Apocalypse of Adam, 2,000-year-old Gnostic. Alright, well, that's something we can look into, and, you know, we can build further on that with what we find. But I think this is the actual, or one of the actual books coming out of the Nag Hammadi Library, the Gnostic Society Library, and the Gnosis Archive. So this is, yeah. So I'm going to look into this, get a little bit more details about what happened. And maybe we'll revisit that again. Maybe not. So that is pretty much what I wanted to go into, and I'm surprised as you, Byron, that nobody has any kind of opinion on this. So it's very, 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 very surprising to me. But we want to get ready to get up out of here.
What happened? I thought I got on like 8:30. I was looking forward to find out what's happening at Congress with all these laws they're trying to pass. Is that going to be an election or what? Like,
well, we could talk about that real fast, because some of what I am, some of what I am coming across is that one thing you have a lot of corporations who are enforcing the mandate, because these people are walking out of work, and a lot of these companies are very, very, very worker oriented. So these people have no way of operating without the workers. So they're, you got all these different, big corporations. There's big corporations that are just saying, you know what, later for that. You know what I'm saying? If you do it, if you do it, cool. If you don't and you catch it, that's on you. Which is how it should be. You know what I'm saying? It should already be in that manner because is nobody wants to be told what to do. These are health decisions that people have a right to make on their own. And it to me, it was gonna come around to that. But I am of the opinion that they wanted to rush and get it done, get people to, go and comply, and then if it falls on its face after several months, so be it. You know what I'm saying? They've accomplished pretty much what they wanted to accomplish, which was this so-called trying to reach this so-called herd immunity. So, that's what it is. It's a lot of that going on. Some of this we can't really get into because we don't want to speak out of turn. We don't want to, misrepresent anything in regards to this. People, if you want to, comply, please do so. If you don't, do that. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to judge anybody for making any kind of decision. That's all I got to say.
Well, I need you to explain to me, Shock, how the reasoning, help me understand their reasoning, if you can, of they downgraded the jab, where it no longer can where you could still get the C-19, you could still pass it on. So they downgraded to where if you take it, your symptoms won't be as bad. It won't have a bigger impact on your health. You may not have to be hospitalized.
Right, and I think that is what is being stated according to the World Health Organization. They're stating that it will minimize any kind of drastic situation if you are to contract, that thing.
So then my question is, if that's the case, how are you going to be a threat to somebody else? Because the only threat you are is to yourself by choosing not to take it. So why are they trying to, like in some of these laws that you were stating the other day, is that you could be thrown in prison if you don't take the shot. You could without court, this, that, and the other. How can that happen when you now are not a health risk to society? You're a health risk to yourself. So you have your own choice to believe in your own immunity system, or take that jab.
Well,
so I think it's giving people a way out. The more they learn the truth about this jab, that it's ineffectiveness. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree. And the thing is, when it comes down to it, companies are in the business of doing business and making money. When that starts to get affected, then some real serious changes have to occur. They have to occur. And that's something that is coming to light. That's something that is coming to light. And we'll wait and see what the lawmakers decide on and all of this. But here in New York, they going hard. You know what I'm saying? This mayor on his way out the door want to leave a trail. he want to make his mark. So that's kind of what it is right now, and hopefully we can all, find a means of being knowledgeable of what's going on out here, because the object is to really, be safe, make sure your family's safe and everything. So again, we're not here to misinform the people. We want to just basically speak on certain delicate topics as it pertains to the law, and just kind of keep a watchful eye to what's going on out there, because there's certain things that are happening. Like, look at this. Ghislaine Maxwell, her case is being done in private. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about the case. They're not speaking about the case. They're not showing any of the drawings from the trial. All of this stuff is being done in private. And again, this is my opinion, I think that it's because she has a lot of information that will really, really, really damage some reputations if it comes out. That's just my opinion. So we'll keep an eye on it. I would suggest that the things that they don't want you to, the things that are not reported, I ain't gonna say they, because I don't know who they is. The things that are not reported, maybe the things that you want to just look into a little bit, because they're trying, it's a real tactic to kind of do smoke and mirrors, and we want to make sure we know what's going on, because we are, the children of the sun. So, with that being said, yeah, the federal cases are never televised, and they don't even really want to talk about them, because they know the information that she has. They locked him up for the information he had. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to silence anyone who has damaging information on some of these people out here. So I would implore everybody to just take a look, peek, find out, Google, do your due diligence, find out what's going on with the case. You know what I'm saying? With the little bit that you are able to know about it. Let's know everything we can know about it, because she's gonna be saying something that somebody don't want to hear. But on that note, I'm getting ready to shut it down. On behalf of the goddess, a hostess with the mostest, Kia L, on behalf of all of you, the chat room crew, you know what I'm saying, HOH team, on behalf of Byron, who gave great insight, had a great discussion with him, and to everybody else, we're going to say peace to the gods, and we'll be back next week. We gotta ease our way back into it. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to violate any community guidelines. You know what I'm saying? We want to respect the platform and the information. So with that being said, we out of here, and this show was brought to you by Carbon Juice Lounge. Check us out. We're in the east side of Harlem, 2154 2nd Avenue. We providing a great deal of healthy alternatives and some remedy from a holistic standpoint that can help you, take care of your temple. So I appreciate everybody for being on. You know what I'm saying? Check out our sponsor.
This is some of the process to making ginger shots at Carbon Juice Lounge. Some of its benefits are 1. Clearing inflammation. 2. Boosting immune system.